free legal advice.
Yeah.
And that's not the state's attorney.
I guess
That's
some
the
of this
county agents.
misconception about that from way back when Ted was here, because he used to talk to Ted all the time about things, you know, so.
Right.
I guess, yeah.
But I did learn something over a section line issue, because I got bombarded about something, so I called her and asked her. She said before she could do anything, there had to be a sheriff's investigation before she could get involved at that time. And then it didn't happen because there never was an investigation. So there's, you know, that's something I didn't really quite comprehend. I thought me going to her, but she said no, she had to have once the sheriff did his investigation, then she
I suppose you gotta have all the facts.
The one thing, not to relive this matter, but when Richard was here, according to what I was told outside, Richard can build a dike on his property outside the drain to keep water getting on his property.
from the drain.
A berm. Yep, he can do that on his property as long as it doesn't impede the drain in, like, for instance, a dam. But on his property, if there's a drain that's running beside his property, he can build a small dike or berm on his property. That is legal. But I just figured I'd let you know so you knew too. Because I didn't know.
This stupid dirt is not worth even arguing.
No, it's what I.
Right.
This was a concern of mine from day one.
And you really think he was gonna increase that berm this year anyway?
No,
I was just doing it now,
that's just,
Should make
do what
it
you're gonna do, because you're probably never gonna do it.
probably.
I haven't been out there, is it like slope nice and graded? And
Yeah, it looks, I mean,
Brian does a
when
good
the
job.
dirt got taken out, it was about probably a 3-foot high ridge of wet dirt. And within a couple weeks, Brian went out there and spread it out on our inslope. So for number one, for safety, number two, to dry out better. And then he was just gonna work it into the inslope and everything was gonna be fine. So, you know, I'm concerned about.
So is that gonna change that slope quite a bit?
Well, there's
on how much
where
dirt he
there
takes
could
out
be
of there.
there's where there could be a legal issue, because he said he's gonna go into our right of way. It is our right of way. And he's gonna take that dirt, and if he changes the slope from, that's supposed to be at 4-to-1 or whatever it is, okay, now he's opened up a can of worms for himself. A lot of farmers will call me, especially in the fall, and they'll say, I'm cleaning out, I'm doing drainage work in my field, can I go into the right-of-way, into the county right-of-way along the highway because it's a little built up there? And I'll give them permission, but I tell them as long as it doesn't change slope. And so we have let people in our right-of-ways before, obviously. But in this case, you know, I mean, it would be that dirt now is this deep, okay? So if he's gonna go in there and get that, it's really easy if you're pulling a scraper to make a mistake. And to cut a ridge into that inslope, and then who's liable if somebody gets hurt?
I know,
It is a big can of worms.
it is, but there are things that, yeah. Anything else? 6th county meeting is what county?
McIntosh.
No, that's not a county.
Ashley.
Ashley.
Oh, we know the Ashley.
That's a long time yet.
Yeah.
And then, next commission meeting, July 7th, department head meeting 18th. Anything else to add, Dan?
Oh, yes, I do have one thing. Brent, you might want to check on this. City of Cathay reached out to me and said that piece of property where we buried the school is turning into a glorified dump ground. Want to check on that?
Yeah, well,
Is it burnable though, or is it metal?
I thought I would top this off. We got a call a while back, Tammy did, I did. The city of Hamburg has turned into everybody's personal dump ground.
oh, absolutely.
By the old bar there.
Well, not only there,
And
but
Darren
all over
Holt's
town.
yard.
But,
Darren Holt's
so
yard.
evidently, Will you check on that for me?
Yeah.
I wanna know what they're referencing, cause they reached out to me and said, do you realize this is happening? I said, no, I have no idea. So
We noticed it late last fall.
It's gotten
We had
bad
the gate
this
closed, and all of a sudden some pieces of pipe and some tree branches and stuff was being hauled in there and piled over where we piled the school. We closed the gate, they open the gate and they go in.
Can we lock it?
We can, they'll get in, but I mean, the one thing that, I'm glad Dan brought this up, because we have to get rid of that cement at the state shed, okay? And Dan would know more to this than me. When we buried the school there, Dan, I'm assuming you had to file for a permit, correct? Yep. And I think that the county should file for another permit, because number one, it's been used as the dump site for the school. Odds are we'll get another permit and we can bury that cement in that
That's out
pasture. Yep, and we can bury it in there. I've spoke to Brian Schimmelfinnick and he said in 3-4 hours he'll have a hole the size that we buried the school in. But he says you do have to have a permit to bury cement like we did with the school. So I think we should apply for another permit and get rid of that cement out of the state shed. And then to be quite honest with you, depending on what happens in June, I would not be against you guys saying we're done with the state shed property, because I promise you they have been a pain in the rough. Okay?
Is that contract up?
I think it's a 2-year contract. I think we just signed it last July, correct, Dan? We'd have to look. But we always signed a 2-year lease. So, and I think that in June or July of 27, our lease is up.
That would save us money.
Where would the chemical go if it's gotta be warm?
Well, where was it before?
There was no regulations back then, and they're getting tougher all the time. The
So,
regulations.
I was very,
I mean, that's just
yeah.
a question I
I
have.
was very, very concerned, number one, because the state fire marshal came and did a yearly inspection or a trial,
Okay.
yep. And, so they went out and basically it's a big glorified shop inspection by the state fire marshal. And I sent Dan his report and there are no hazards or problems with it. The building passed basically in flying colors.
With the chemical in there.
Yes. But you gotta remember, all that chemical now is stored on spill
Yeah.
pellets. You know, it's done
Nobody
legally by the
works-
weed board.
Nobody works in there during the day. I mean, it's just a storage building, and it's heated. So where is that chemical all gonna go, or we gotta use it
Well,
up?
I would
It's gotta
say
be
that-
gone at the end of
I
the year,
would
so we
s-
don't have any.
I would say that
That's
would
a
be up
weed board
to,
issue.
that's
Yeah,
a
I
weed
know.
board
Well,
issue.
I love passing the buck.
I can just go, I can say something, and Dale Smith's gonna be around, we can say something to him.
Yeah, I mean, you
If
know, I
this
don't know where
happens.
they stored it before, some farmer's shop or
I don't
whatever, I'm not sure.
Or if the weed board wants to pay the lease
Well,
for this, we'll keep
It
it.
just depends now, like this year, the weed board didn't buy much chemical.
No, I had lots left over.
They had lots left over, so there was no new supply of chemical brought in there. There's probably 6-7 pallets of chemical in there now. Now, last year at this time, that 6-7 was more like 16 to 20,
Wow,
okay? There's not much chemical in there.
okay, well,
Weeds ain't growing this year, that's.
yeah, right.
But, you know, you guys may want to discuss, and I don't know how long it would take to get a permit, Dan, how long did it take to get the last one?
Environmental quality was involved the entire way through, so they were involved with the school while it was still standing, so it was easy to get that one. This might be a little trickier.
Yeah.
And, you know,
They have no vested
That's what I
interest
told
in
him.
it.
the more pertinent issue, if there's people dumping stuff at Cathay, we put a sign up that said,
No
dumping's
dumping,
illegal,
Yeah.
prosecutors will be, or
Signage
violators will be
sheet,
prosecuted.
premises protected by cameras.
After they,
Yeah,
after
signs.
they dig this hole and bury the rest of it, make it all leveled off, so there's not a dumping pit there.
Yeah, that's not on
Yeah,
the
but
lot
people
in
will still
town,
know
is it?
stuff
No.
that they'll just dump it.
It's where we buried the school, and just so, if you're not aware of Cathay, our property is between Cathay and the Cathay City dump. It's quicker to drive into our property than drive all the way out there, and they just throw it in.
And you would, out in Hamburg,
I went out there.
It's something, isn't it, Dan?
Old washing machines, old dryers, old appliances.
Yep.
I mean, they just dump it wherever and call it a day.
It's,
There's a couple different guys. It will cost somebody, probably not the city of Hamburg, it's gonna cost somebody tens of thousands of dollars to clean that crap
they
up.
might, yeah. They realistically could change the town name of Hamburg to landfill. It's
It's bad.
getting, it's terrible. It is terrible. And I think Hamburg still has a city council, is that correct?
do. And so my first comment to them is, well, what city ordinances do you have?
That's city.
They said, we're proud to be ordinance free, and I said, well, then I'm gonna have a hard time helping you, because you don't have anything that precludes this from happening,
Yeah.
other than the environment. But if the EPA went into
Oh,
Hamburg, North Dakota,
oh,
they
oh.
put a big fence around the whole place and throw everybody out.
Yep, they would.
If you don't have a mayor and stuff, don't it go back to the county? But it should be cleaned up before it goes back to the county.
Well, no, it wouldn't go back to the county, it would go back to the township.
Township,
Township,
the township.
Just like Heimdall,
Yeah, we have
Heimdall,
nothing to do
Manford,
with that thing.
huh?
We have nothing to
Nothing
do
to
with
do
Yep.
with that.
we have nothing to do with it.
That's city and then it's township.
Yep.
Speaking of another dumping ground, the fairground pile out there behind the barn.
We gotta burn that this fall.
Yeah, I don't know, something's got, that's a rodent infested,
So,
that's getting a lot of extra
Sadly,
crap
that's
too.
just a common thing. Harvey had that issue for years. Farmers, people from outside would come in and dump their garbage in by the city shop.
Right, yeah,
Beside- They
yeah.
had to put up cameras and all that.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable, the stuff they got.
what we need this fall is a little snow cover and then we'll light that pile. But, you know, the last 2 winters, we haven't had a whole lot of snow cover and it's been, you know, so. But we'll have to light it. You know what happens is all the straw from the 4-H, we gotta clean that up and it gets piled back there. And it's not just us. I know we're off subject, but I don't want to put a big orange ugly snow fence around that fairgrounds for the work that's been done to beautify that fairgrounds.
No, just on the north end of Highway 15, come on.
Nobody is gonna walk through that drainage ditch to get in for a
No.
$10 concert. Okay, I mean, it's just, it's very frustrating that we have to try to find some type of temporary fence. And it goes back basically to they're still mad we took that fence and them trees out of there.
Yeah.
And it's done wonders to the beauty of that fairground.
But
To
we
be honest with you,
always
the trees on the west side should be taken out too. But the thing about it is they didn't want the millings in there either. We fought for them for 2 years to get the milling in, we get the millings in, now they want the whole thing milled. Okay? So it's just frustrating, that we gotta put some type of, I'm serious, we'll pound in some T-posts, and we'll put an electric fence up. That's all they wanted, is a fence that they can't cross.
I'm surprised. Can't they just do that?
They're not going to though, because they're still ticked off that the trees and the fence are gone. Am I right or wrong,
It was just a mess
Brian?
along there, it was just a mess.
Well,
Along
last
there
year they
before.
gotta buy,
Yep.
you know, with them panels.
You drive by that fairgrounds and you look at that fence and them trees gone, it makes that fairgrounds look pretty nice, doesn't it? The snow blows through there, it's 100% better.
It was just garbage before.
Yeah, it was a garbage, boxes, everything blew into that ditch. And now it looks so nice, and there's several fair board members that are still mad because there's not a fence there. So they come to us every year to do it.
And again, that's their issue.
Yep.
It's not our jurisdiction either.
Should try it without the fence for a year, see how it goes.
Well, I think if we go back into the minutes, the fair board is responsible for fencing in the buildings, and
Well,
we're
that's what I
responsible
thought
for the
then.
grounds.
Yes,
I would lose some sleep.
I'm not going to, I promise.
I'm no lawyer.
Oh, you
Must
got that
be.
there, you sure?
You must be. There's a trader, we got a trader and a lawyer here now.
You get kicked out of the bar association, and that's why you're not a lawyer no more?
You got any more business to do?
No, I don't think so.
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting adjourned, now you can BS all you want.
See, Brent, those hinges